The Chicago Bears have turned it around in recent weeks, and it all goes back to the bye week when they had lost to the Minnesota Vikings. Nick Foles suffered an injury late in the game. Mitchell Trubisky, due to that injury, initially got back onto the field after being benched in Week 3. The last 3 weeks, 2 of the games wins. They have done very, very well, and relative to how they were. It's not like they're all of a sudden the Kansas City Chiefs, Chris, but they are better than they were. They were sluggish. They were ineffective for so long. I spoke to Matt Nagy, the coach of the Bears, after the game, and he identified 3 tangible factors for why they're better now. 1, when they went to the bye week, they made some moves on the offensive line, and it's settled down. They've had consistency on the offensive line, which is what you need to even begin to have an effective and functional offense. You need an offensive line that is the same 5 guys, and they play well, and they play together, and that helps open up running lanes and buy time for the quarterback. Second, getting under center has been a factor, and that's something you've been pointing out. Now, I asked Coach Nagy point blank if the comments from Coach Dungy when we had the Bears-Packers game a few weeks ago, and Dungy worked it with Mike Tirico, whether that was a factor. And he laughed, and he said, no, that was something we've been trying to do all the way back to training camp. It just hadn't happened. But that offense calls for shotgun 88% of the time. 88% of the time.
Right.
So they've changed it, and it's effective. And now the concern,
wait, hold on. But what are what are you trying? Like, you like, hey, guy, don't put your hand there yet. We're not trying to go underneath the center yet. You just do it. It's not that, but okay.
Well,
go ahead.
But my point is, it was part of the plan back to training camp.
Okay, I know.
They just woke up one day and said, "Hey, Coach Dungy said we should go under center. Let's go under center." It's been part of the intentional, deliberate effort this year to evolve the offense.
Okay.
But they hit some rough spots early, and now they've gotten back to it. And the concern is, Chris, and I think this is a viable concern, to stay ahead of their own tendencies that they're now setting with this different look to the offense, because at some point there's enough film, somebody cracks the code, somebody figures out how to stop this switcheroo that the Bears have pulled. So Nagy said one of the challenges is basically self-scout themselves. He didn't say that. I wish he had. So they're ready for when defenses adjust to what they're doing now.
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, he's right. It's amazing what they're doing right now. It really is. The transformation they've made the last 3 weeks, even in the loss to the Detroit Lions, the offense was great. They weren't the problem. It was the defense, So there's a lot to that, and listen, I mean, Matt Nagy, again, I challenge we wanted to get underneath the center. No, just get under the center. You do it, and then the self-scouting that part, that's another one where I'd go, hey, it's like they've been listening to my podcast. I mean, Matt Casey, producer, could tell you these are things I've been saying. They're one of the easiest teams to scout in all of football the first 12 weeks of the year. They're so predictable. You know exactly what they're going to do. There is nothing to it. The fact that they have at least the threat of the power run game in the bootleg, as you know, we see a lot of teams in football who live by that, formula right now in the NFL, and it's very successful. I mean, the team they're playing yesterday, the Minnesota Vikings, that's all they do. You don't even necessarily need to run the ball that well, and play action and bootlegs still have an effect. And to me, that's the biggest thing more than anything here is it's like the Bears coaches finally looked at their team and said, hey, I'm going to stop making you guys fit what I want to do, and I'm actually going to try to fit to what you guys are good at. And they've started to do that. To me, that's been the biggest change more than anything. And it's awesome to see. And if their offense can play like this, I like their chances. To me, when their offense is playing like this, I think they're better than the Cardinals. I think they're a better football team. I'd take them in a head-to-head matchup right now over Arizona. I really would. With their defense and they're running the ball that way, I like their chances, and I think there's a really good chance they do sneak in the playoffs here.
And next week it's Arizona hosting the 49ers, whose home away from home is Arizona. Kind of a strange little quirk there. So, yeah. And the Cardinals have the Rams.
Who are you taking there? Who are you taking?
I think the Bears make it.
Right?
I see that 27% possibility. I think the Bears make it. I think they do.
I think so too. And the fact that I don't know if it'll affect either, but the Rams losing yesterday, that pretty much assures that they're they're going to want to play that Week 17 game. I don't know. Maybe the Rams end up in a meaningless Week 17 game where that saves them. That could save Arizona.
I've been peeking ahead to Week 17 from time to time. I can't make any sense of who's going to be playing to win, who's not going to care, who's going to be hoping maybe they fall down a spot in the playoff tree to get a better matchup in the wild card round, which I don't like in general, but I can understand in some years where, especially this year, where home field advantage doesn't mean as much, maybe you'd be tempted to do it. The last reason the Bears offense has improved is Mitchell Trubisky, and the benching of Trubisky in Week 3 may have been the best thing that's happened to him in his entire career, because Nagy said he's different now at practice. He's more confident. He's more assertive. He's commanding the offense, and it shows week in and week out, and also you're throwing that ability to run the ball. That's why I picked the Bears to beat the Vikings. I'd seen that movie before. When the Vikings had a decent pass rush, they couldn't handle Trubisky's running. They definitely couldn't handle it yesterday. They couldn't handle the offense yesterday. The Vikings couldn't stop anything yesterday that the Chicago Bears threw at them, and it still came down to a fluky Hail Mary that almost was caught. You go back and watch that. It almost was caught by Justin Jefferson.
Definitely.
And it looked like there was a blatant face mask of the guy who was in position to try to catch the ball too. But, hey, they don't throw penalty flags on Hail Marys, except when it's the Vikings playing defense, which we saw last week.
Right.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.